breathing. Okay. Now, so I've got to figure out the most important lesson, and breathing is the key. And all you got to do, because everybody breathes every day, but most people breathe incorrectly. And I'll say for a demonstration, take a deep breath. And most people go like this, where the chest comes up and the tummy goes in. Okay. And I say, well, you're breathing like the sickest animal species on the planet, which is Americans. We're 4% of the world's population, consuming 95% of the pharmaceuticals. 70% of our children can't qualify for military service. So it's the sickest industrialized nation in the world. So when we talk about breathing, you have the nerve that supplies the breathing muscle, which is the diaphragm. And you breathe in. When you breathe, your diaphragm comes down and the air comes in. So the stomach should come out when you breathe in, and the stomach should go in when you're breathing out. But the nerve to this diaphragm comes out of the neck. So we talk about C3, C4, C5 keeps you alive. That's because if you have a problem with the neck, your diaphragm isn't going to work right. Now, when you breathe, you're going to be breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now, why would that be different? Well, when you look at this, you breathe in, the air goes by these mucous membranes, and that actually creates nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is unique. It's a gas that can bronchodilate and vasodilate. So when you're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, then you're actually opening up the air tubes and the blood vessels. So if you want to have more oxygen to the brain, you want to have more oxygen to the heart. Now, I'm breathing correctly. I'm breathing with my diaphragm. When you're breathing like an American, where your tummy goes in and your chest goes up, you're using the top third of your lungs, which is the smallest surface area. When you're breathing with the diaphragm, you're using the bottom 2/3 of the lungs, which is the largest surface area. But more important than that, this diaphragm is over your gut. And so 90% of your immune system's in the gut. You're looking at why would the gut be underneath the diaphragm? Because every time you're breathing, this diaphragm is massaging all of those organs. It's helping with gastric motility. It's helping with brain function. It's called the gut-brain connection. When you're breathing correctly, you're eliminating acid, which is a carbon dioxide. This is why a couple of years ago, they did insane recommendations of putting a face mask on. And now they know that wearing a face mask weakens your immune system. It increases your infection. It decreases brain damage, or it increases brain damage. And when you're looking at kids that were wearing face masks all the time, you're psychologically disrupting their brain development. So this diaphragmatic breathing moves lymph, uses your full lung capacity, and helps with gut function. Then, what does diaphragmatic nasal breathing do for meditation? If you're doing this, 10 deep breaths before you go to bed, you're literally relaxing your brain. If you're doing this when you're driving and you're on your way to a meeting, when you just had a big hit, like I just got a letter from a contractor that's putting in a solar-powered well pump, and it was very stressful to me. So before I tap my response in, what did I do? 10 diaphragmatic breaths so that I can get my autonomic nervous system to work correctly, because I could be in stress or regeneration. Brain rejuvenation. This little 1 kilo brain burns 90% of the body's oxygen. So when you want to keep that brain healthy, 10 deep breaths. And what's cool is if you have any kids, and I'm talking kids about 5 years old or younger, they already breathe correctly. When you see them running around playing, their tummy goes up and down like a little pump. So kids are already smart. They understand that the diaphragm is working correctly, everything else. But how many people have a problem with the neck? Loss of curve, forward head carriage. That means the nerve that supplies the diaphragm, and the way I used to teach it to doctors, the C3, C4, C5 keeps you alive. That means C3, C4, C5 is the nerve to the breathing muscle, the diaphragm. So if somebody has a problem in an old whiplash trauma, do they have decreased oxygen? Absolutely. So if you have a problem with the neck, you're looking at direct problem with the brain function. Because if you're breathing correctly, you can literally alkalinize the system. COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, massive, massive results with diaphragmatic breathing. Okay, and that's supposed to be one involved in the lungs. So if you breathe correctly, not only are you going to help COPD, you're going to help with brain function, digestion, bronchodilation. You're going to help with alkalinizing the system. You're going to help with stress management, everything. So I say 10 diaphragmatic breaths every hour. When I'm driving and I think of it, it's man, I'm going to diaphragmatic breathe. Okay. And you may just understand, if you're not used to diaphragmatic breathing, doing 10 diaphragmatic breaths may get you dizzy. Okay. That's okay. Eventually, your brain is going to adapt to the healthy amount of oxygen and you'll be okay. Okay. Breathe your way to health. It's what we're designed for. Now, any questions? Kapun Kraf, thank you very much.